container, so they just kind of.
Enemy in the container.
Oh well. Thank you for pretty much confirming what I just said.
Where I am right now, I resided somewhere in Minnesota. It's cold. It's like negative 18 degrees outside right now.
80s pop funk, you know.
My first job was on Madden 20.
Hello, my name is Tamara Corbett, and I am currently a 3D character artist at Harebrained Schemes and the Seattle metro area. And yeah, I've been here for about a month, or not a month, a year and a couple of months. So yeah, it's been pretty good.
What's kind of your day to day as far as what you're doing?
Sure. So like I can't really say what exactly I'm working on
Right.
because of NDA. The research behind it, like I'll usually get a concept and I'll do the research behind of like how these clothes will be built, and so that would help me build them in 3D. And like it's either I start building them in Maya or in ZBrush. I prefer probably ZBrush since I feel like I have a lot more freedom with the sculpting program. So yeah, it's a lot of research first. So I get like references. I use PureRef as basically a reference program that you can just like stick pictures onto. So I can put stuff on there and just look at that on like another screen. And the second phase is the building in Maya or ZBrush. And the third phase is probably the high details, the sculpting. So I primarily use ZBrush for that. And that's how you get like the really nice, like detailed look of all the characters, and you just take as much time as you need usually. Like I usually am on a deadline though, but like I have like a little more freedom, so I take about like a week to 2 weeks for that. After that phase, the high res phase, you go into the low poly phase, which I would go back into Maya and start building a low resolution version of the high res that I got from ZBrush. So you want that to be as accurate as possible to capture all the details from the high res, because you're going to get that low poly version and do the UVs for a UV phase, and then after that is the baking and texturing phase. Like I mentioned, you wanted your low res to be as accurate as possible to capture all the details from your high res, and this is where it's going to really shine or really show your errors. So you want your bake maps to be as nice and clean as possible, because it'll make your texture phase a lot easier or a lot harder. And you don't want to go back into those other phases because it's just a long process if you do so. So yeah, and then after the texturing, and then like I usually go through like rounds of feedback through my art director. It's either like I go through each phase with the exception of the low res. So I go through like the high res. Is this detailed enough? Did you want something else? Or and he'll give me notes, and then I'll iterate on that and then send them back to him, and then like, okay, time to go next phase. And then the next round of feedback would usually be through textures, see if like the colors need to be different, like more contrast, or like a different hue or anything like that.
Kind of take a step back a little bit. Kind of how did you even get started in this, or like what even like kind of drove you to even being what you are?
Oh yeah, sure. So it has not been a straight journey. Like it's been a lot of twists and turns. I've always liked drawing as a child, and I've always kept that up up until high school and all that stuff. But I went to a tech school for undergrad, and I was programming and doing all that stuff for 4.5 years. And then after I graduated, I was like, I actually don't want to do this. Like after that, I realized like that my true passion is like I want to make characters. I don't know whether I want to go into games or movies, but I know I want to make characters in the first place. So during my second year in college, I got introduced to Maya, which had been used in a movie that I had loved since I was a child, the first Incredibles movie, characters like that. So like through my second year, up until, I graduated, I was like learning on my own after that class. I ended up going to grad school for game art.
Hmm.
Um, and so after that, like it was a good experience, and I learned quite a bit, and like it was hard after. Oh, you have these expectations like, I got these 2 degrees, I'm gonna get a job, right? It doesn't work like that. Yeah, so like I said, it was not a straightforward journey. So like
Hmm.
after I graduated from grad school, it took me about 7 months to get my first internship.
Hmm.
Uh, um, and then after that first internship, it was supposed to last 6 months. It didn't. It lasted 2. They ended it after 2 months. So that was, yeah, it was demoralizing to
Yeah.
say the least. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that almost made me want to not pursue this anymore. But I kept going on. So a couple of months after that, I actually applied like mass applied to everywhere because I was just like, kind of getting desperate at that
Right.
point. Apprenticeship at Harmonix in Boston. It's a really good experience. I worked on the Rock Band 4 DLC stuff, and
Hmm.
it was nice working with other people and having like an experience with like a boss, like actually like art directing. So that
Right.
was like better than like the first internship that I had. It was really good. Um, and then after that was over, I started mass applying to like more full-time places too. And so that was again, it was like another hard area because I was trying to like come up with other opportunities to either do freelance or to just get like another job. So I actually
Right.
had gotten a certificate to start teaching math. Like I reached out to a friend on Twitter who I had met at GDC that previous year hiring. She's like, yeah, actually. So I had an interview a week later with that same company, and then a week later got the offer, and I was able to move from Atlanta to Seattle area in 2018, and I've been here ever since.
Explain a little bit like what it is that you like to do, kind of like more in your free time.
Sure. So like in my free time, I do like to I want to strengthen my personal portfolio and stuff. So like you have your stuff for work, but you can't show that off until like years later. So like I like to work, or I like to do research on like whatever's current with character art trends and what's going on with like the engines that are being used now. So like understanding like stuff for Unreal Engine 5, or learning how to use shaders in Unity or something like that, because I want to like diversify my skill set, not just characters, but I want to know how to rig properly, want to know how to like make shaders properly for like different parts of the character, like eye shaders. As far as characters, I'm always like sculpting or doing something in ZBrush to keep my skills up and relevant. So like
Mhm.
I like doing fan art, or I like doing characters that I've had for years. Like
Mhm.
one I've been working on for a bit of time is like more than a year. She's doing pretty good. I've just like different phases for her. Like working on the hair. I know
Mhm.
hair is a really like really popular subject for characters now, and like especially if they're going in Unreal Engine 5. There's 2 different ways to do hair, and I want to do it the traditional way before I do it the new way that they're presenting. And especially with black hair, it's not as they're getting better, definitely getting better with presenting black hair in like these AAA video games now. And so like
Right.
I'm working on her hair for this, and it's like definitely taking time because like different shading models in Unreal don't really capture how it would look in real life, but it's fine if it's going to be stylized, but it's like trying to get that balance. Um, but yeah, it's definitely like been really fun. So like, I guess to fully answer your question, I like doing research, and I do like doing personal projects to in my spare time. Yeah.
project kind of in the future a little bit, kind of like where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself like still in the same position? Do you want to kind of like gravitate to maybe a higher position within your studio, or like kind of what is the future like? What does the future hold for you?
Um, do want to be in a higher position. Like right now, I'm considered mid-level character artist. Do want to be senior with the same company or with another one. Like I'm willing to stay where I'm wanted and like
Right.
where stay where I'm wanted and stay where like my skills can still flourish.
Talk about like the things that you play and like played when you grow, when you were growing up, and kind of what you like to play now.
I don't think my tastes have changed since I was a teenager. I still play a lot of JRPGs. I liked the long play aspect. Like if the game takes 300 hours to play it, I'll do that.
Right.
Kingdom Hearts and Star Ocean are my big like JRPGs that I really like playing. And that's where I got a lot of my inspiration as a teenager, and that has influenced like the type of media that I like want to pursue and like. Um, but as far as like stuff like metaverse, and it's interesting to see how people are interacting with each other in this aspect, because I feel it's already been here. It's been here for a long time. It's just that it's being influenced by these big companies and being pushed in that way. And that's why it's being like blown up in this way. But it's been here forever. People have played WoW since 2004. People have had Second Life since 2007. As that, I'm not too impressed with like these companies pressing all of this, but because people are going to go wherever they feel is comfortable for them, or is enjoyable for them. They aren't going to want something that's pushed onto them.
Influenced by like sort of like anime and different sort of things like that. You like to play JRPGs and stuff like that. Talk about some of your influences as far as like anime and things like that to kind of close it out.
Okay. Think definitely when I was growing up, it was like Yu Yu Hakusho and Sailor Moon. Nowadays I've been watching less and less, but it's a lot more serious stuff. Like I don't know if you've watched Golden Kamuy, but as far as like growing up, it was like definitely like Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, and definitely got my influence from there.